The Queen is slowing down, explains a palace insider, adding that the monarch has already begun making plans to move to Caixa Palace, her residence in Caor, in the south of France. She's capable of doing that because Princess Mary is fully capable of running things. She's like a future queen anyway. Margrethe is said to believe that her daughter-in-law, who turns 50 on February 5th, is at the most important stage of her life to become a monarch. Back in October 2019, Margrethe even gave Mary the green light to act on her behalf as regent. As a result of this arrangement, the Australian expatriate has now spent quite a considerable amount of time preparing for the much more important role that lies ahead of her. Margaret definitely knows that the country has been left in safe hands since Mary became queen, says our source. For many years, Margaret has been training Mary for this purpose. But Mary is not the only one who has matured and reached a state of readiness for the challenges ahead. A stumbling block in the past was Frederick's reluctance to settle down and take responsibility for the role. His playboy years troubled his mother and late father Prince Henrik. However, things have changed since Mary came into his orbit and they became one family. It seems that thanks to Mary's guiding hand, 53-year-old Frederick is now ready to take his role seriously, and the Queen is very happy with the result. Margrethe has approved of Mary from the start, agrees our source. There is something very rare about her and she is made to be a queen. For Mary, this chance to prove herself under Margrethe's leadership has also made her think carefully about how she and Frederick will rule when the time comes. They are clearly forging their own path, making sure they are in touch with their characters in keeping with Margrethe's legacy plus the modern trends they are happy to spread among the Danish people. For example, during the recent royal run, the pair spent time in cities across Denmark to meet and greet more of their subjects. They also managed to travel a long way. Fred traveled to Copenhagen with his 3 youngest children and charmed the people of Odense and Sonderborg, while Mary flew to Aalborg and ran 5 kilometers with the locals. She is a people's princess and acts almost at ease and natural, being a European princess. Margrethe has another, more unusual reason to give up the monarchy altogether. She's about to work on the Netflix movie Erengard, for which she's been hired as a production designer. As an experienced artist and illustrator, this is not the first time the Queen has taken on such creative work in this field. Over the years she has designed costumes for the Royal Danish Ballet, as well as many locally produced films and TV programs. Back in 1977, she even illustrated an edition of The Lord of the Rings under the pseudonym Ingehild Gratmer. However, this new role will take up most of her time, and while palace sources note that it's a labor of love rather than a new career choice, there's no doubt she'll have to outsource more of her duties and social activities than she always has. I think it will take her a long time, our source says, but she genuinely trusts Mary and Frederick with all tasks. So the next step could mean that Mary and Frederick will take over while Margrethe finishes her movie work and then hopes to spend more time in France. While this would mean a change of guard, it would not mean that Margrethe would completely abandon Mary. Indeed, the Queen will still be close to her family. Her second son Joachim and his family have a home in France. But it will allow Mary and Frederick to take the throne in the modern era. Sources tell Royals Monthly this is what the Danish people want. The public thinks it's time for Frederick and Mary to be king and queen, says our insider, who adds that this has been the feeling in Denmark for some time. Of course, it's up to Margrethe to decide. If Margrethe stays in France, Mary will effectively become queen, and Margrethe is only a short flight from Copenhagen should Mary need her help. It's a win-win.